Assalamualaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Rashid Zia. I hope you are all fine and missing your Akhtar Said Medical and Dental College. Unfortunately, we have to continue uh, on long distance teaching since the institutions are closed due to this virus epidemic. Well, we hope that we will all see each other in near future. Today I am going to discuss a very common and important disease which we are facing and only few countries like Pakistan and Afghanistan are left with poliomyelitis. Luckily, rest of the world, this disease has been eliminated through vaccination, and we sincerely hope that in the near future we will be also lucky and manage to eliminate this deadly disease from Pakistan also. Uh, I'm going to discuss poliomyelitis and post-polio syndrome. As you all know, polio means gray matter and myelitis means inflammation of the spinal cord. This disease results in the destruction of motor neurons caused by the poliovirus. Polio is caused by a virus that attacks the nerve cells of the brain and spinal cord. Although not all infection results in severe injuries and paralysis, this is the poliovirus. You can see it is a picornovirus. This is the shape of the virus, and there are three types of poliovirus: number 1, 2, and 3. The virus is ingested and it's spread by the fecal-oral route. If somebody is suffering from poliomyelitis, he or she will pass the virus through the stools and also through the body secretions, and then it goes to other people through orophycal route, where obviously it is commoner in the areas where there is a poor sanitation, and the infants are protected by maternal antibodies in the first 6 months of life. If we go back to the history, poliomyelitis is associated with man since ancient times. Egyptians have indicate presence since 400 BC. In 1840, Henle characterized poliomyelitis, and poliomyelitis means grey marrow in Greek. In 1954, first time the vaccine of the poliomyelitis was invented, and the first vaccine was available in 1954 by the name of Salk vaccine, and in 1960, 6 years after the Salk vaccine, there is another form of vaccine was available, which is called Sabin vaccine. In 1991, Mola produces the polio in vitro from virus RNA, and in 2002, there was a complete synthetic form of vaccine production was started, which is available right now. This is the vaccine we are giving to the children nowadays, and this is a synthetic form of vaccine. In 1988, the polio was almost present more than two-thirds of the world. You can see the whole Africa, the China, Russia, Pakistan, India, and also in the Middle East, in South America. Only the North America and the Canada was polio was eradicated from that, but rest of the countries there was a epidemic almost of the polio in 1988. 10 years after, you can see the marked difference. The polio was present only in some countries in Africa and in India, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Rest of the country, you can see the Australia, China, the Russia, South America, North America, Canada. It all disappears within 10 years due to the vaccination program. Epidemiology is concerned, it is a silent circulation. Many hundreds may be infected prior to the development of a single case of paralysis. WHO consider a single confirmed case of polio in an area of low occurrence an epidemic. So this is the definition. If you have a single confirmed case of polio in an area of low occurrence and epidemic. How is polio transmitted? Polio virus is transmitted through both oral and the fecal routes with implementation and replication occurring in either the oropharyngeal pharynx and or in the intestine of the mucosa. Polio cases are most infected for 7 to 10 days before and after clinical symptoms begin. So this is the incubation period of poliomyelitis, 7 to 10 days. This is the diagrammatic representation of how the polio infected and the pathogenesis of the poliomyelitis, the unique stages of infection and pathogenesis of poliomyelitis. This is poliovirus. Poliovirus is an enterovirus, has an icosaphenal capsule shell that protects it from digestion. There is a capsule around the virus, though that's why it is not ingested in the acidic media of the stomach. It passes through the GIT tract and then enter into the blood, and from the blood it goes to the spinal cord and the CNS, and where it causes the paralysis of the motor neuron. This is the diagram showing that when you ingested the poliovirus, it goes through the esophagus and to the stomach and intestine, and from the intestine it passes into the blood, and from the blood uh, it goes into the spinal cord and the brain, and some of the viruses are passed through the fecal route and infect the other people, so that enter and into another circulation of oral fecal. Provocative poliomyelitis occurs when a person having poliovirus circulating in the blood, which is called viremia, receives any intramuscular injection. Reason is increased susceptibility of the relevant interior horn cell, resulting in settling of the circulating poliovirus there and consequential paralysis. So this, if there is a viremia and somebody gets the injection, then there are chances of paralysis are quite high. What are the symptoms of poliomyelitis? It may, in many cases, it include fever, pharyngitis, headache, anorexia, nausea, vomiting. Illness may progress to aseptic meningitis and meningoencephalitis in 1 to 4% of patients. These patients develop a high fever, myalgia, severe headache, and stiffness of the neck and the back. This is the clinical pattern of the polio with the passage of the time. This is how the polio attacks the motor neuron cells, and these are the motor neuron cells, and they supply the muscles. And when these interior horn cells are damaged, there is no nervous supply to the muscles, and the muscles are paralyzed. So this is a diagrammatic representation how the anterior horn cells are damaged by the poliovirus. Poliomyelitis, in 1% of the cases, a virus invades CNS, so then it can cause encephalitis, or if that involves the meninges, then we can have encephalomyelitis. But it is luckily a very rare presentation of poliomyelitis. Mostly it involves the interior horn cells, and the virus multiplies there and destroy the interior horn cells. In severe cases, the poliovirus may attack motor neurons in the brainstem, leading to difficulty in swallowing, speaking, and breathing, and eventually leads to the death of the patients because of the involvement of the respiratory center. When it destroys the anterior horn cells, the tibialis anterior muscle paralysis, which is the most common variety of the poliomyelitis. In this variety, which is called as equinus deformity, the heel is elevated and the child walks on the toe, which is called toe gait, and the Achilles tendon contractures occur. So the heel elevated and the toe is on the floor, which is used by the child for walking. So it is called toe gait, and there is a contracture of the Achilles tendon when the interior horn cells involved in the lumbar area and destroy the interior horn cells which supply the tibialis anterior muscles. This is called the equinus deformity, and you can see this is the type of paralysis which is the most common type of deformity. In poliomyelitis, there are other deformities depending upon the which type of muscles are paralyzed. The other variety is called calcaneus deformity, in which the gastrosoleus muscle paralyzed, and it is also known as a cavus foot. Then there is a varus deformity, in which peroneal muscles paralyze, associated with equinus deformity, and paralytic equinovarus deformity is the name of the of the deformity, which is due to the paralysis of the peroneal muscles, and this is the diagram of the deformity when the peroneal muscles are paralyzed due to the destruction of the anterior horn cell, which supply the peroneal muscles, and is also called the varus deformity. Then there is a planovalgus deformity, in which the tibialis posterior muscle is involved and paralyzed due to destruction of the anterior horn cells, which supply the tibialis posterior. And in this case, the foot is flat, and the arches of the foot are lost. Sometimes the paravertebral muscles are involved, and it causes the paravertebral muscle paralysis, and the spine is then not supported and leads to paralytic scoliosis when the spinal cord is deviated sidewise, and there is also a pelvic tilt due to imbalance of the paravertebral muscles and the support of the vertebral column. There is another deformity called knee deformities when the hamstring muscles paralyzed, and it is also called geno recurvatum. There is another variety when the quadriceps muscles paralyzed, and in this variety there is a knee flexion contractures. These varieties are rare varieties in which the involvement of the muscles which control the movements of the knee joint, like hamstring muscles and the quadricep muscles. Now, what is the treatment? The treatment is only supportive once the anterior horn cells are damaged. There is no curative treatment. The treatment is just only supportive treatment. So the best option is to prevent having a poliomyelitis, and that is the reason we stress on giving a vaccine to each and every child with a routine vaccination, and in addition to that we giving 3 or 4 doses of extra polio vaccine to every child in a year. As you all know, there is an EPI program, which is an extended program of immunization in Pakistan. Uh, when we give polio vaccine along with the BCG at birth, then the second dose of polio is given at 6 weeks along with the penta and pneumonia and rotavirus vaccine. The same vaccine, polio and penta, rota and And pneumonia vaccine is repeated at 10 weeks of age. At 14 weeks of age, we give polio vaccine orally, and also we give polio vaccine intramuscular to make sure the child is protected from poliomyelitis. And we also give penta vaccine and pneumonia vaccine. At the age of 9 months, we give measles vaccine, and then at the age of 15 months, a polio we give measles booster dose. So this is a normal routine vaccination which every child must get. But since we having a lot of cases of poliomyelitis, so to boost the immunity, we give 3 to 4 doses of polio vaccine oral every year to increase the immunity of the whole population, uh, to eliminate polio from the society. So this is a part of a eradication of the poliomyelitis from Pakistan. Now physiotherapy is the hallmark of the treatment, which helps to relieve the contractures and make some movements so that child can be mobile and have less pain. Then you uses the crunches and also with different appliances to make the child mobile. It is very painful for the parents to have a young child with these disabilities when there is a no treatment once the poliomyelitis occur. There are other options when we do tenotomy or osteotomy, tender transfer, orthodesis, soft tissue release. These are all procedures done by the orthopedic surgeons to relieve the contractures and use the muscles which are not paralyzed to make the child uh, to stand and walk with minimal support. So these are the different procedures done at different stages of the disease. These are all to relieve the pain and the contractures and make him mobile as much as possible. As I mentioned to you, this Selk vaccine, this is a Jonas Selk who invented this vaccine, and it is an inactivated vaccine. Immunity to polio virus 1, 2, 3. It is a very safe and effective, but it was present in injection form, and that's why the Salk vaccine is used mostly because of the convenience. And as you know, uh, the that vaccine is orally given to mass population in a short span of time, and it's also less costly. But the Salk vaccine is inactivated vaccine and is given by injection. No gastrointestinal immunity, the risk of continued circulation of virus in endemic areas, but it is an expensive because you need expert people to give, and also you need a syringe for this type of vaccination. The live vaccination, also called the Sabin, it came in 1961, and it was a revolution that you give 2 drops of uh, the polio live vaccine, and that give you a protection from poliomyelitis. It is a live attenuated oral vaccine called Sabin came in 1961, the risk of oral viral mutation leading to potential regain of virulence is present. Excretion of the live virus through the feces. Live vaccine is cheaper, suitable for mass vaccination program as I have already mentioned. As I mentioned, the poliomyelitis, the current status is that it has been eradicated from all over the world except Pakistan and Afghanistan, and we trying our best to eliminate poliomyelitis through mass vaccination and slight changes in the EPI program. As I mentioned, that in the third dose we give intramuscular polio vaccine in addition to oral polio vaccine. I hope sincerely that in the next couple of years we will be managed to eradicate polio from Pakistan, because as you know there is no treatment and it is a deadly disease, affects the children and they are handicapped the rest of their lives. You can see how many appliances are used to make them stand and walk. Thank you very much. I hope this lecture will help you to understand poliomyelitis disease. If you have any question, please you can email me. My email address is rzia56 at the rate hotmail.com, or you can send me a message or you can phone me. My mobile number is 0300 844 0976. Thank you very much.